Is there what's it like in the rewrite process once there's a buyer involved? You know, someone's bought your script. Can you take us through maybe some of the common things you've seen in the scripts you've sold?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that everybody really just wants those great characters and those great character moments, and I think a lot of notes tend toward character and building out the character. I think everybody kind of knows what a high concept is, that kind of movie is, and I think that if you can laser focus in on characters and their kind of arcs and how it's all connected to the themes during those rewrites, I think it can really bolster the script.
Have you ever gotten a note that you disagreed with?
All the time. I just think that one of the things that we as writers have to do is kind of find out what the intention behind the note is. I think there are things such as bad notes, but I don't think that there's such things as I don't think anybody is writing down a note to hurt the script. I think they're writing down a note because they genuinely had a problem with whatever it is that they're talking about. And I think that as writers, it's our job to kind of look behind the curtain and see what the actual problem is, even if somebody who gave the note wasn't perfectly articulate in what they were saying.
Now, I'm assuming there's always an evolutionary process from the selling draft to the draft that eventually goes into production, and then, of course, there's editing in the end that changes a lot of things. Have you dealt generally with a huge evolution, or have you had your projects stay fairly consistent from what you envisioned in the beginning?
No, I mean, just seeing any script come to life as a movie, it's always going to be different than it was in your head. But no, I really haven't. For Number Station, it's basically how I envisioned it, except it's bigger and there's a movie star in the lead role.
Interesting. So there's no point where you kind of have to disassociate yourself and say, this is what I wrote, but now we're kind of making it's different to shoot it than it is to write it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my goal whenever I sit down to write is I want to write movies. I don't want to write scripts, and so. I don't know. Maybe because that's how I focus myself. That there's not a huge evolution.
Interesting. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about going on meetings and going out for open assignments, because I assume that's something that becomes a pretty regular part of your life after you've sold a couple of specs.
Yeah.
Now, how many scripts did you have to sell before you were really taking meetings all over town and all of that?
In 2010. When my first couple of scripts went out, I did somewhere around 80 to 100 meetings. And then in 2011, after my sale with Line of Sight, I think I went back and counted and looked at my calendar, and it was probably about just under 150 meetings over the calendar year, which to me is, I just kind of treat that as the day job. I try to take all of my meetings in the afternoon after I've written, so I always have that time in the morning to write, and then in the afternoon when I'm that's the work part of the job. The writing is the stuff that I enjoy.
Interesting. Now, you were also on the Blacklist at the end of 2011. Did that have a measurable impact on how you're perceived and how many people were maybe calling you up and wanting to meet with you and so on?
I didn't really see like a big influx in meetings, but definitely it's something that everybody kind of talks about now.
And also, by that point, you had sold 4 scripts, so that probably is why you didn't quite get the Blacklist bump.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Now, is there a difference in between going in for a general meeting and then going in on a pitch or trying to pitch yourself for an adaptation, as with Metro? Like, what's the difference in meeting somebody about those?
Yeah, I mean, general meetings are usually just, meet and greets. Sometimes they'll have ideas or projects that they think you might be interested in, but when you're going on a pitch, I mean, it's really laser focused about the idea that you have, your kind of take on the material and how you would write the script.
Do you feel you're better when writing an idea that came from your head, or when dealing with an idea that maybe an exec says, "Hey, we want a script about this"?
I've always kind of said that I can kind of get geeked up about anything, and I have my board in my office that has all of my random ideas that I have throughout the year, and then if I hear an idea that I spark to immediately, it's just one of those things where like I get excited about it, so I want to be involved in it.